What's up, peeps? I thought I would start sharing some anecdotes and stories from my life with you guys. A lot of my friends tell me that I have the weirdest stories, and it feels like at times that I attract really weird drama for some reason. So today I thought I would talk to you about my ex-psycho roommate. So this was when me and my boyfriend lived in another flat. When we moved in there, it was this really nice Polish girl living there and also this really nice Polish guy. And we lived there with them for about 2 weeks, I believe. And then the girl had to move abroad to Spain and the guy moved back to Poland. And we had a very pleasant experience staying there, except the room was a bit too small for us. But there were no problems, everything went smoothly for those 2 weeks. But then when they left, someone had to replace the people living in those rooms. And they found a really nice British girl called Ellie who moved into that previous girl's room. And then they found this slightly older, or he was like maybe 35, Polish guy who replaced the previous Polish guy. So yeah, there will be a lot of Polish people in this story. So yeah, my boyfriend, he has a what you would call 9-to-5 job, so he was never home when they moved in, so I was home alone. And so I met the new Polish guy and introduced myself to him. I told him where the local grocery stores were and also told him about a few Polish shops that are around here because he was Polish and I thought he would like that. So everything was fine for maybe like a week, and then weird stuff started happening with the Polish guy. The internet in the flat had been fine for the whole time we had stayed there, but as soon as he moved in, we would hear him like have Skype conversations constantly, and the internet connection was so bad for everyone else. So I had gone to his room, just knocked on the door and been like, could you maybe like make the conversations faster? Or like keep the conversations to like a minimum, because I think he called like his mom or something in the morning, in the day, and in the night or in the evening. So there were a lot of calls, he was being very loud, and he was talking in Polish. So I think the reason why the internet connection got so bad was because he was Skyping with someone from Poland, which kind of drained our Wi-Fi, so that's why I just asked him to do that. And he was like, first of all, it's not Skype, it's something else. I was like, okay, sorry, but whether or not it's Skype or not, could you just keep the conversations to a minimum? Because I was still in uni then, I had a lot to study and I just couldn't, I couldn't with that internet connection. And so he seemed a bit offended by me asking him to have a few conversations, whatever. But that was it at that time. And then I think maybe 2 days later, he had taken this rack out of the bathroom that we all use to hang our towels on when we shower. And so he had taken that one into his room and hung his clothes to dry. I told him that he could let his clothes like finish drying, but since everyone uses that, maybe he could get his own like drying station or something, because everyone else had bought their own stuff that they needed. And he just like rolled his eyes and did like this big okay. Then he brought up the Skype thingy. Again, first of all, it wasn't Skype, it was something else. I was like, okay, are we still on this? And then he kept going like, I pay rent in this flat, so I should be able to use the internet. I was like, yeah, you can use the internet, but maybe keep all the Skyping to a minimum. And that's all I'm asking. But yeah, that did not go down well with him, and he just went on and on about it, and I was like, basically like, oh, whatever. And just went back into my room. And that was it for maybe 2 days. Skip ahead 2 days after that. my boyfriend had been home that day. I don't remember why, but he had heard the Polish guy and the British girl talking, and my boyfriend heard the Polish guy saying that he was so mad at me for something. And he was like, I wonder why he's mad at Samantha. And we also thought the British girl and the Polish guy were good friends because we heard them talking a lot, but I will explain later why. But yeah, they were talking and he said something about being mad at me, and my boyfriend texted me, he's like, do you know why the Polish guy is saying that he's mad at me? And I first thought it had been because my friend Shauna had been over that day and we had been filming a video. And I thought maybe he was like, oh, we can't bring people over or something. So I was like, oh, maybe that's it. And we were just like annoyed. I get home and he doesn't say anything to me. Then skip forward another day when my boyfriend's gone to work. In the morning I get a loud banging on my door. So I open it, here's this Polish guy, and he's like, Samantha, why did you do that? And I was like, do what? And he's like, why did you put stuff in my food? And I was like, what are you talking about? And he just kept going on, and at first I was like really confused, because first I thought he said that I had poisoned him or something. And I was like, how would I do that? And then he kept going on, and then he was like, come to the kitchen, and took me in there, and he said that basically, of what I understood from him, was that I had put washer liquid in his food, which, yes, is very absurd and bizarre. And I was like, you are out of your mind. And I was basically like, you need some help, dude. Leave me alone, I haven't done it. And he just was screaming at me and whatnot. And I was like, maybe it's because you leave your food next to the sink where we all wash our stuff. Do you think maybe that could be why? Maybe you've got some someone might have splashed something. And he like refused to see that as a possibility. So yeah, he just was screaming at me and blah blah blah. And so, well, I don't back down in a fight, so I was screaming back at him. I was like, you are insane. And I was like, why the heck would I do that? You need help, blah blah blah. And so he got really mad. He just slammed the door and left. So the British girl came into my room and asked me if I was okay and whatnot, and she explained to me that she also had some issues with him because a few times he had gone into her room without knocking, and like at times she would be undressing and he just came in. So he had been a bit psycho towards her as well. So skip forward yet another day and another knock on my door, a loud bang. And I open it, I see that it's him, and he's like, Samantha, when are you gonna clean the bathroom? And I was like, I've already cleaned it. And he's like, no, that's not clean. And he said, it's been 2 days and you still haven't cleaned it. And I was like, I have cleaned the bathroom, leave me alone. Because I was just getting so fed up with all this drama with this guy, like a middle-aged man just coming and annoying me. Like I'm a young girl who just hasn't done anything to you. And he's just being so rude. So at that point I was just fed up with him and I was like, leave me alone. And I was like, it's not my fault that if you shower and make it really dirty after yourself afterwards, that doesn't mean I haven't cleaned. Oh, he just kept going on and on about like all the previous drama, and I was like, grow up, you're a middle-aged man, leave me alone. And so again, he was super pissed, slammed his room's door, and also left the flat and slammed that door. What's going on? Like, this is so weird. The day after, I was supposed to have an exam in soap opera. And I am a huge procrastinator, so I save everything just up until the absolute last minute to study. And so that was my day when I needed to study. So I was like just thinking to myself, I do not need this drama today. Like, I just need to study because I have an exam tomorrow. Maybe an hour later, the Polish guy comes back to the flat. And then I hear him trying to get into his room, but it sounds like the door doesn't open. And then he's like, Samantha, what the fuck, you bitch? I was like, what's going on? And then I realized, oh, his door has gone, I don't know what you call it, in backlock, where, because he slammed it so hard it must have like locked itself. And that had happened to the British girl just 1 week before. So I was like, oh no way. Because I had been texting my boyfriend and been like, oh, I'm so mad at this Polish guy. I hope what happened to the British girl happens to him. And on that same day, it did happen. So I was like, oh, God really loves me. It's like, thank you, God. His initial reaction is that I've done it. So he starts screaming and cussing at me. And he's like, Samantha, you fucking bitch, what have you done? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, at that point, I was really scared. Luckily, I had locked my room store that day because he was walking into that British girl's room. I started locking my door. And so he tried to get in. He was like pulling the handle like really aggressively, and he's like, open the door. I was like, leave me alone, I haven't done anything, I'm studying. And I started recording on my computer.
Leave me alone!
Why close my door?
I haven't touched your door!
Of course you never touch nothing! Fuck you! Change the flat! Nobody wants to hear you!
The thing I recorded, I think it's like over an hour's worth of him just screaming and doing weird stuff outside my door. At that point I was super scared, and I was like this guy, if he'd come into my room, he could like destroy me because he was very big. I was like, I'm gonna call the cops if you don't leave me alone. And so he started doing this really weird thing out there where he started calling people. I don't know if they were real calls or not, but like he would speak in English. From me like, oh, I'm gonna call the cops on her. She's so insane and blah blah blah. He's like, I think I need to call my friend who's a therapist because she needs help. Both him and I had called the landlord or the landlady, and she was like, oh my gosh, I'm rushing over like in 20 minutes. And I was like crying to her, so I guess she realized that it was serious. The landlady had come back, and I heard her come in and just started arguing with this Polish guy. I think she had got the feeling that he was a bit weird too, because I found out later that he was texting her about all this weird stuff. So I think she was kind of also fed up with him, and she asked the British girl, who would you rather live with, the Polish guy or Samantha and her boyfriend? And the British girl was obviously, Samantha and Todd, easily. So she basically told the Polish guy that he had to move out, which was nice. But the landlady was nice enough to offer him a room in her flat until he found something else. She would even help him find something else. He was like, I'm gonna check into a hotel. And then as they were helping him take out his stuff of the room, he must have checked what hotels cost in Glasgow, because he 10 minutes later told my landlady like, oh, I didn't realize how expensive hotels are in Glasgow. Basically trying to get the offer again that he could stay with her, but she was like, I don't care. And that was the end of my psycho roommate story. I don't know if there was any structure to this story. I tried my best, and I really hope that you like these storytelling videos. If you do, please like down there, and then I'll know to upload a few other videos, because I have a lot of weird stories. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. If you've been in a similar situation like me, please let me know. For some reason I like reading about like weird roommate stories, so please let me know. And follow me on social media, and all the information is in the information box below. So until next time, smell you later. Bye!